Hey there. I wanted to go ahead and share what I meant by using OneNote. So first, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to enable that if you haven't already done so. So this is just for my homeroom class, but it might provide a little bit of clarity here. So from my homeroom class, if I go over here to settings and I click on settings, what I can do is where it says the navigation, because of course you get course details sections. I want the navigation. What I want to do is to go ahead and drag up OneNote class notebook, and I'm going to drag that from being hidden. And for my students, I want to have it right up underneath announcements, and then I can go ahead and have them be able to click on it. So of course I need to save that. And then once I do that, um, it will show up. So I'll go back to home here. It'll show up on the left-hand side of where they are. So once you've done that, you go ahead and click on it. And you're going to have them sign in with the Office 365 account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And what that takes me to is a tab where you can go ahead and start naming things. And that would be the name of your class. So if it's PLTW, HBS, or PBS, or MI, or whatever, you just simply name it. And then along the side, you can add another teacher if you need to have somebody else also be part of this, a notebook overview, and then you can actually add student names. Now, what I chose to do when it came to adding student names, it's not letting me show you that, but you can either physically add them yourself, or as the students log in and they click on it, it will actually auto-populate them. So as soon as they become part of the class. So I'm going to go ahead and get away from that one, and I want to go ahead and go into one where I've already got it. So on my HBS class, I've actually already got it set up for OneNote class notebook. And so when I click on that, some of the documents that I have, I'm going to go into managing notebooks, because for one of my students, I do need to add some things for him. So you all can watch while I do that. What I set up, and I named it PLTW Human Body Systems. I've got the student sections that I wanted them to have: class notes, handouts, homework, and unit overviews. I can add another section if I ever want to. And I already had that by default where the teacher only section, that's going to be where I only have access to the documents versus the documents that I always want the students to have access to. And they can even collaborate in that certain space. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and open up the notebook. So what that does is it opens up a new tab. And once it actually boots itself up. Okay, so now it's ready and set to go. So now I'm going to need to increase the size of it, and you'll see why. I wanted to go ahead and fill my screen here. So what I'll see here is off to the side, there's welcome stuff. Collaboration space, that's an area where the students can actually work together. I don't really need to use that tool. Content library. This is one place where I've gone on ahead, and I'm going to click on that. I've gone on ahead and had added a human body organizer. So now this is for my HBS class. If the students need to have multiple copies of this possibly, or you want them to get it at their leisure, what you can do is put it inside that content library. So what I'm going to do in the content library here, I'm going to go ahead and go down, and kind of need to move this stuff. I can actually add at the bottom of the screen, you might be able to see it. But I can't click on it now because part of the menu is hiding it. But I can add an area in there. And so for one of my students, He's going to actually need some of this information. So his name is Derek. What I want him to be able to do is to make a copy of that human body organizer sheet. And even though you guys can't see it, I used the PDF and I downloaded it in here, and it sort of makes it like a picture on which that they can annotate. So when it comes to handouts, I actually want him to have that handout because right now he just joined the class good. He doesn't have any of this information. So I need to push through a few documents to him. So in order for him to get that document from handouts, I'm going to go in here and I will go ahead and take that human body organizer. So, okay, now it populates. You guys can see that that was that sheet that you could make like thousands of copies of and they would always pick it up. Well, I put it in here so that if I right click on it, and also if he right clicks on it, he gets an option to copy it. I can actually move and copy it and or copy it. So I want to go ahead and I want to move/copy it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to choose that, but I'm going to choose to put it inside his folder so that he can see that it's already there. And that was just that fast. I've forgotten the student. There it is, Derek Johnson. So I'm going to go ahead and go in there, and I want to go ahead and put it into his handouts. I'm going to tell it to copy it there. That went directly to him. So that is a good way for me to go ahead and push things through to him. And he can also come into this content library and pick this up as many times as he needs to. Another way to do it is because I've got some teacher only content in there. I'm going to go ahead and close that one up. I don't want to look at that. Is these are some unit overviews that I previously made for my HBS class. What's in there now is a unit 1.1 overview. So what I can do is I can just go in and I can literally, well, I'm going to go ahead and copy both of those for him. So all I did was I pressed Control and highlighted both of them. I'm going to right click. Oh, and it won't allow me to do that. I can either delete it or not. But what I can do is in here, if I've got some teacher only content that I want to share, so this is what my unit plan actually looks like. So this is a unit plan that I used to pass out all the time. They can literally double click. So like filling out dorsal, that actually creates a text box that the kids can put somewhere and they can annotate there. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of that because I don't want to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to class notebook. So as soon as I go over to class notebook, I want to distribute that page, or I can copy it to the content library so that a student can go get it themselves. In this particular case, I'm going to just go ahead and distribute it. So when I distribute that page, and I want to go ahead and highlight them both. Okay, won't let me, but as you can tell, I'm kind of new to it as well. So I'm going to Control so I can get both. I want to go ahead and distribute those two pages to an individual. And what it's doing is, and remember, as soon as the student goes on ahead and opens it up for that first time, he should auto-populate. So there's Mr. Johnson. That's who I want to send it to. Now, there's a button down there that just says distribute, so it will go ahead and push it through to him. And it's telling me now I've already selected it. And at this point now, he can go ahead, and I've already distributed that to him. It will actually show up where I want it to go. So I want it to go to him. And in fact, where I want it to go, I hit update, but didn't want to do that. So I'll go back into there. Next, I want that to go into his unit overviews. And now I'm going to distribute that to him. So anything you want to keep control over, you keep in your teacher only. anything you want them to have easy access to that they can just pull down as they need to, you can put that into the, um, you're able to put that into the content library so that they can go and get a copy of it. Okay, well, I hope that helped.